Welcome to Business Revolution. Business Revolution is an idea-sharing platform where budding and experienced entrepreneurs share the business tips, pros and cons, do's and don'ts of how they built their businesses today. Today we have Ms. B Ofwono of Victorious Schools. I am Nataliey Bitature and this is Business Revolution. Hello Barbara, thank you for making the time to come and speak to us. You're most welcome.
Thank you, and it's an honor for me to share my story. I'm really privileged to share what experience I have had for the last 20 years
We
doing
really
this.
look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So speaking about your story, can you talk to us a bit about who you are, where you're from, and how it all began?
Dr. B Ofwono, proprietor, CEO of Victorious Education Services, and Victorious began in 1999 with about 30 children, 3 members of staff. Over the years we have grown. Now we have over 450 staff, and we also have over 4,000 children over 5 campuses. We thank God for that progress.
That's amazing. But where did this all start? Were you a teacher by training? Did you always want to do this when you were a young child? How did it begin?
I am a teacher by training and by call. When I reached senior 6, I was supposed to do, I really wanted to do law. My dad told me, no, you are a teacher, fill in education. I really felt my dad didn't love me. That's what I thought. And yet he was my best friend. But he told me, the child I've seen in you, the person I've seen in you is teaching. Please go for it. I really felt bad, but when I went to teach, I really taught out of my heart. I enjoyed teaching. I was a secondary school teacher, but when I started work, I belonged to a church, Watoto Church. Then it was called KPC, and I was teaching Sunday school. So in the Sunday school, I started learning skills of how to handle children, because for me, I had trained to teach secondary school students. A teacher of history, a teacher of CRE, I would handle general paper, I would handle debates. Those are things that I enjoy doing with the students. But when I started teaching Sunday school, there are things I noticed that was happening in our country. First of all, when they would invite people to go for a wedding or any function, I would see them even write in the invitation card, NB, don't come with the children. And that always pissed me off. And I said, no, these children are not being invited. How will they know what takes place in such meetings? Then the other thing that also really weighed me down was, you visit, you go to someone's home and they tell you, go out, adults are in a conversation, you're making noise. For me, I believe that even as adults, we make noise for children because they are not understanding what we are saying. And also, when they are speaking and conversing, we are not enjoying their discussions. So they are making noise for us as we also make noise for them. So for me, I just wanted an environment where a child will be a child. Then the other thing that I really discovered as I was working with the young children was, why don't we allow children to be children? Whenever they touch something, you're spoiling. Please, you're going to spoil my thing. When will they adventure? When will they try out? And being in secondary, I had noticed something. You would find students that didn't have self-esteem. They didn't know exactly what to do. They would be bogged down and would never ask you a question. They just listen to instruction and do what you have told them. That pissed my mind, because I wanted to deal with people who are engaged, people who would ask me questions, people who would really challenge me to think more and think better. And also if you could see their essays, the way they would write, it's like, did this person go to primary school? Did this person, where was the problem? And I discovered that everyone was looking at university. every program that comes, it's about university. Or this generation, we want to work on the university students so that as they are going out into the work world, the problem is sorted. So one time after, I used to teach for 2 services, 8 o'clock and midday. So one time I was, after the 8 o'clock service, it would end at 10, I was in the balcony resting. And I heard a voice tell me, these ones are okay, but the ones out there need you. I looked around, I didn't see anyone who told me those words, but a burden was really birthed in my heart. So the following week, I went to visit nursery schools. I had never gone to any nursery school because I was teaching secondary, and at church I was teaching nursery children. When I visited, that day I visited 3 nursery schools, and I was beaten by what I saw. The first school I went to, I found a teacher beating a child. Because this child was new, didn't know this teacher, and the child was trying to repel, crying for the parents whom she knew. And the teacher was busy hitting the child. I went on to another school. This one, I found this proprietor, very old, had retired from civil service, and was instructing children while seated. Children do this, and she's just seated. You will never get the best out of children when you don't do. When you hear the statement, do as I do, that's the language of the children. If you want to jump, you want them to jump, jump. You want them to sing, sing. You want them to smile, smile. You want them to hug, hug. You have to do. But this lady was just seated and instructing children, and the children were really feeling, I saw the spirit so low, the children couldn't. I wanted to get her out so that maybe I help her to see exactly, because these children need you to dance with them, sing with them, hug, jump. When you teach children, at the end of the day, you are tired. And the children also are tired. That is the real language of children. Play is children's language. So I tried to talk to her. She was not understanding me also. I told her, you stand up and start doing with them these things, they will feel good. She didn't. In the other school, it was about writing. A baby class child. The teacher was holding the child's hand, write well. And I was telling her, this child's brain, there is a brain development that matches with the muscles. These muscles are not yet developed, so the child will not write well. No, the parents want the children to write well. They are going to feel bad. I said, but now you are the expert. So when I had a conversation with this girl, with this teacher, I discovered that she was a school dropout. So that led me to also now find out exactly these people that are teaching in the kindergarten, which qualification do they have? I discovered that most of them in the 90s were school dropouts. They had not moved far with education. And for me, I saw that now I need to be the solution.
I'm trying to see what kind of values and skills and threads you see in your career, not just for education, but that young entrepreneurs can learn from. What kind of activities do you think that young people today should be doing every day to better themselves and to prepare for their future?
One of the things I do daily is to have a conversation with God. I start my day with the Lord, and I derive my wisdom, my direction from God. So there are so many ideas that come to my mind, and I really believe it's God that has led me to that. Because people come and ask you, how did you manage to do this? How have you? But it's just beginning the day with the Lord. Then the other is continuous learning. You have to keep learning, and you do not only learn from going for a training, or you learn from everyone, even from a 3-year-old. These children have taught me many things. I learn from a child, I learn from a teacher, I learn from the support staff, I learn from everyone. Every moment is a learning moment. When you learn to listen, that is what I really want to tell the young entrepreneurs. Listen. When you listen, your immediate clients are the staff.
Can you talk to us a bit about how you had mentors or networks or influences that have helped you to grow along the way?
Yeah. Now, when I started this journey, first of all, Victorious wouldn't be where it is. I really want to acknowledge a circle that I belong to. As members of the church who were youth, were called young workers, we discovered that each time we didn't have money. So we decided to begin a circle called Why Save. I'm among the first people that began. I'm among the very, very first people that began.
It's a very big thing now,
Yes,
right? I've
yes.
heard of that.
I started in 2000.
Wow.
And Victorious began in 1999. So in the year 2000, when YSF began, I was the first borrower. Because I had gone to banks. I was this young girl, the banks would look. I mean, they asked me questions. Who are the directors of this business? By that time I was a sole proprietor. Who are the people behind this? Who can do this? All my questions that they asked, I think it was no on their sheet. And at the end, I was denied a loan. I didn't have collateral, I didn't have this, but the major thing I was seeing was a woman, this girl, they're not a woman, but this girl. They were not seeing anything much in a girl. So what gave me the push when the banks denied me the loan was why save. I had not saved a lot of money, but it was in the circle. There's a system of guaranteeing one another. So we were youths that had buddied together. So people guaranteed me, and I got the loan. Because that time my parents were the parents in the school. Because Victorious began with about 1 million. About 300. Yes, in 1999, that's the money we had. We started with 30 chairs with no table. We just had, we put in what we had. It was very humble, very humbling. So when this money came from YSF, the parents were complaining about the building, which was, they needed at least the environment to change. So when I got this money, went to another building, really put in that stuff they needed, immediately the parents saw that the building was full of children. So I really wanted to say that this is an organization that has made me who I am. Then YSF, after YSF, being part of YSF, I also saw that as a woman entrepreneur, I need to have mentors from other women. I needed to listen from other women. How are they managing? How are they surviving? What are they doing? So I've joined many organizations, many networks. Like I belong to Your Will. Your Will, really, it's a group of women, different professions, businesses. So you're able to learn from what these women are doing. And it's a mix. There are professionals, there are people that are not professionals. And sometimes I get challenged and say, I have gone to school. This person has not gone to school. How come they are doing better than I'm doing? So I get so challenged and say, no, we need to show that we have gone to school. So I really love that team. Then also I belong to PBW, Business Professional Women. Our president is Maggie Chigozi. She has really mentored me and helped me to see what it means. And the mix that she has, being a professional, being a businesswoman, has really helped me, blended with me so well, because I see that as a profession, she has succeeded in business. I've also done a lot with the ICSA on boards, because you really need to know how to select a board, how to handle boards. I've trained with that with that organization, so that I can really know what to do. I never want to do something that I don't have knowledge about. So that is something that has also helped me. Even when Victorious, after we had finished the kindergarten, when we were beginning primary, I went and I did a postgraduate in primary education.
So to understand everything yourself, then you can implement it.
Yes.
I would like to ask you, from your experience over time, how do you approach challenges in your work?
What I can tell you, challenges are part of life. You wake up in the morning, you don't have any clue that challenge will arise. So when they come, as they come, like for me, I start my day with prayer. Normally, it's a landing ground for me. I say, God, this has come. What do I do? Because you breathe in, you breathe out, and you ask God to give you guidance. Because working with children, working with so many people, every time there are challenges. But that is how I can sum it up, that when they come, you need also to derive wisdom from someone above you, and you're able to do that. Or you call also other people after, you say, this has happened to me, how can I do this? You need people in your life that you can speak to and share with them what you're feeling, so that they can give you advice.
What inspires you? How do you keep going?
What inspires me is to really impact a life. When I see a life change, you see, these children come to us when they are babies, crying, and now in 20 years, we have seen them beginning to graduate. And when I picture the way this child came crying and the things they were doing, and here she's speaking on her graduation, I feel so energized. I feel like doing more and more. We are also engaged in community work. I hadn't talked about that. In all our schools, wherever our schools are established, we do community engagement with the people around. So when you hear someone tell you a story, when you see a family, maybe there are some children we sponsor education fully, bursary in our schools from the community, and you see them come to this school that they would never have chance to be part of, and you see them learning, and you don't see the difference between them and these other children from well-to-do homes. I feel fulfilled. Then also in the community, there is something we have done with our dear parents, the staff, and the children. We have a soap project. We teach the children, all these stakeholders, how to do the soap. When we do, our clients are the parents. We sell, we sell to them the soap. Then the money we get from this soap, we have children in various schools around. Because for me, I believe if someone can read and write, there is a lot that you can do for that person. So we are putting these children in schools around, and they are in school. When they are learning, I feel good. Because these are children that were just at home. And when you look at the future, these are the children who can become thieves and do all whatever because they have not gone to school. But if we can change such lives, then for me it is amazing that tomorrow I will have maybe a surveyor, I will have a teacher, I'll have whoever they will become. But you know, they will also replicate the same spirit. I believe when they become whoever they become, they will also look out for other people. Then the other thing that really makes what moves me is the issue of education. When you would tell people, I am teacher so and so, they would even laugh and look at you like someone very poor, someone who cannot really do much because you're financially handicapped. I told myself, I want to change the face of a teacher in this country. I really want to see the teacher at the spotlight. I want people to see, because teachers do a lot, but people do not understand that teachers do this. Teachers should be paid the highest amount. But you find people think maybe teachers, they like the kindergarten, people think these are just children, you're just playing with them. But there is a lot that happens. So for me, when I see a teacher growing up and can, growth economically, I feel so blessed. In our staff, we have teachers who have bought land, teachers who have built. It makes me feel good.
So when you look forward into the future and the legacy of Victorious and of yourself, how do you feel like you would want to be remembered?
I really want to be remembered as someone who impacted lives. I want to hear stories of people sharing how I impacted their lives. that is for me what can work. And that is what I'm working for. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Barbara, for making the time. We've learned so much. I've really enjoyed asking and understanding and seeing your thought process and understanding the values that have carried your career so far. I really appreciate you coming.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to share my story. I hope this story changes someone's life, really, for national transformation. Thank you.
I hope so too. My name is Nataliey Bitature, and this is Business Revolution.